The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and round, all through the town.
Thank you, Alex.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. That one's for my two little daughters.
That's what I figured.
Yeah, I sing it every night, so.
So they're going to listen to this?
Maybe.
They might listen to it. We'll keep it PG.
No, that's okay.
We'll totally keep it PG. Welcome to the show, Alex.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Oh, it's great to have you here. It's our very first fireplace show.
Perfect. I'm happy to be the guinea pig.
Not necessarily. We've got a lot to talk about. You guys do all kinds of fireplaces, and you guys are doing good work. And just off mic, you were telling us where the name came from and the history behind the name. You want to just share that with everybody?
Yeah, absolutely. So the company name is Bakwoods Fireplace and Heating. Backwood back without a C. Reason for that is B stands for Brian, my father's name. A is my name, Alex. K is Katrina, my wife's name, and then Woods is my mom's maiden name. So
there you go, Backwoods.
Yeah, tied it all in.
That's it. So www.backwoodsfireplace.ca, info@backwoodsfireplace.ca, and it's on Instagram at Backwoods Fireplace, and then also on Facebook as well too.
Correct.
That's it. I'm sporting Vito's tee, Scavetti Renovations and Designs. So that's who I'm wearing. I've got no other little tidbits to share. I don't want to upset anybody right away. We'll wait a little while, maybe to the next show or the end of this show. Where do we begin, Alex? It's a family-owned business.
Yeah, so me and my father started the business 2019.
Okay.
I pulled him out of retirement. He had nothing to do with the industry beforehand, and then I worked in it for about 10 years before we started the business. And then, he came on, and he takes care of the back end of the business for me.
What was he doing before?
He climbed the corporate ladder for a big retail company and did that for 40 years, 30 years, something like that.
So this is something a little different?
Yeah.
Why'd you pull him out of retirement? Why'd you bring him into the game?
Because I don't like office work.
So let him take care of it?
Yeah, exactly.
Because he's good at it?
Exactly.
You figure it out.
And he knows business. He's a very smart man for me to bounce ideas off and points me in the right direction like a father should. So,
guys.
Yeah, no, it's really good. Most days it's really good.
Why did you choose this segment of the industry?
Why'd I choose Fireplaces?
Yeah.
I love the finished product.
Okay.
Right. We do HVAC, we do furnaces and boilers and all that good stuff. Fireplaces, it's just that end product sitting with the customer at the end of the day, showing them how to run it. You got the beautiful stone going up or the brick, the flames rocking and rolling. It's nice. I like that.
It's a nice feeling. It's the showpiece.
Exactly. Christmas time, every family's around it. Got the Christmas tree beside it, so I love it.
Are you guys still offering wood burners?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're still offering, but I mean open hearth?
Yep.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
Are clients asking for that stuff?
A lot, especially in our area. We're in like the George and Barry triangle, so it's cottage area.
Yeah.
So it's a big ask. Yeah. So we do a lot of them.
I'm kind of, because I want to go through the whole gamut of all the fireplaces that you guys work with and work on.
Okay.
And I want to find out, what is your particular favorite brand that you guys like working with when it comes to the direct vented or it comes with the gas units? What do you guys like working with?
So for the gas fireplaces, my go-to is always Cozy Heat.
Okay.
That's my number one. They're out of the States. They just have one of the most realistic flames on them, and install's really nice, service is really nice, and I haven't had a customer upset about it yet. So
easy to turn on and maintain.
Super easy.
Well, what's the maintenance here?
We recommend and offer a yearly maintenance on them.
Okay.
Just you go when you clean the glass, you make sure everything's working good. Like you're working on a gas appliance, so you want to make sure everything's operating safely.
Yeah. So I want to jump back and forth all over the units, right? So obviously I'm a huge fan of wood burners.
Yes.
I'm a huge fan of herringbone fire brick.
Yep.
Fireboxes.
Absolutely.
And you guys have a mason for that? You guys take care of all that, or how does that all work with that part?
So for the open hearth fireplaces, we have actually factory built ones that resemble that look.
Really?
Yeah, so we put it in and then we put that stainless steel chimney to go through all your roof.
Yep.
And then we can frame around it, and then you get a mason in to do the stone around it. But yeah, they offer herringbone brick patterns on the back or your normal brick patterns.
Yeah.
So. And
then it's all, well, you could throw any logs in there at that point, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the steel liners, is it better or worse than the actual the terracotta flues now?
I say they're better. just for the fact that you can close them off better,
Okay.
right? Because the old masonry fireplaces, there's only just a steel damper that closes.
There was always a draft when
Right?
you're not
Always.
using it. Always a draft.
100%.
Yes.
Right, where the new ones have the new open burners, they're still, heat's still leaving your house, but they're better. They're just better at closing off to the atmosphere.
What do you guys have in your house?
So actually, I have an electric fireplace that literally I put in last Saturday.
Okay.
So it's not even framed or finished
So
yet.
that you're like all of us then.
Yeah,
Your
it's-
house is the last one to get done.
Exactly,
I
right?
know.
The mechanic's car.
Of
It's
course.
always the worst
That's
one, right?
exactly
So
it.
that's, yeah. My parents, we put 2 fireplaces in their place, Cozy Heats.
Yeah.
So
People still like the electric ones?
they're becoming bigger.
Okay.
Yeah, they've come a long way from what they used to be, right? Like you could go to Home Depot and buy an electric fireplace and it's a flashlight,
Basically.
right? Where now Cozy Heat, Valor, Regency, they all have their premium electric fireplaces and they look really good. They look really good. We actually just talked to a company. It's an Enclave, I believe,
Okay.
made by Majestic Fireplaces.
Yep.
And they actually put a sound box in it so you can hear crackling.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it's something you wouldn't think you needed, but why not?
It kind of works.
If you go and put the money into it.
Yeah. But I mean, it saves you the trouble of having to vent anything. It saves you the trouble of having.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we're getting into a lot more builds where it's basements of condos or townhouses.
Okay.
Right. So find a location for a termination to meet clearances. It's pretty hard.
Yeah.
Right. So now you just put an electric fireplace that looks pretty real, has a little bit of heat coming out of it.
I want to go back to the gas ones, or even I guess the gas and the wood burning ones.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a little rusty on the clearances, but I mean, there are restrictions regarding nearby window openings,
Yes.
purging valves for gas meters.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of what else is there that you have to be conscious of. Soffits, you can't be terminating it too close to the soffit.
Correct.
What else is there?
Your mechanical inlets like a furnace inlet or a
your HRV terminations. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Even bathroom exhausts or even laundry exhausts.
yeah.
I think
I
there's-
think the general rule of thumb, and now it's different on every fireplace, but like the soffit, the windows, decks, and grade,
Yes.
it's all roughly 12 inches
That's the minimum.
minimum.
Okay.
Yeah. Now to the regulator purge,
I think it's 3 feet. Or no, 6
6
6
feet.
feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 feet.
and then mechanical inlets, I believe it's 3 feet.
Yeah. Clients just don't understand that that valve is actually expelling gas.
Exactly. Now you can vent it, right? Like we can hook up to that regulator and vent it another 12 feet down the side of the house.
Yeah.
If we pop out close to the meter.
But it doesn't look all that attractive.
No, and it's just another thing you got to do.
Yeah.
But it's doable.
Are you also doing I remember seeing these way back at the ethanol fireplaces.
I haven't done one.
I'm not a fan of them because you're always having to replenish.
Yeah, and it's an open flame burning in your house with out a vent.
Yeah.
Which I'm not a huge fan of.
Yeah.
But yeah, we haven't done any and haven't got asked for any.
No, I think there's only a handful of companies that do it, and I think it's they do it for the purpose of, I guess, of condo living, or if you can't possibly vent it somehow.
Yeah,
Here's your solution.
I'm pretty sure they're bigger in like cities like Toronto because
Yeah.
you get into the high-rise buildings.
Yeah.
So they can just throw one in on the top floor and call it a day.
But the thing is, you don't get the smell.
No.
You don't get the crackling. You get a flame. You get a legitimate flame, but it's no different than the flame that's hooking up or heating up your food at a buffet stand.
Exactly.
That's exactly the same principle, right?
Absolutely.
All right. So it's not, and I'm a purist too, right? So I love the wood burning, right? Now, I actually, just before you arrived here, I was recalling that there's restrictions regarding open flame fire pits because you guys also do that as well.
Yep.
In the city, I don't even think they're allowed at all. There's a restriction. If your backyard is, I think, I'm thinking 30 feet from a combustible structure, right?
Could be. I'm not too sure.
So there's nobody that's got a backyard that's that big.
Not in the city, no.
No, but in where you guys are from, there's probably
We do them all the time.
you can do them all the time,
Yeah.
right?
And some townships, you need, like if it's an open wood burner fire pit, it needs to have the cooking purpose. So you just have to have like a grate beside it
Really,
to kind of jump through that loophole. But yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then I want to ask you about what's the best wood to burn in a wood burning unit?
Hardwood, any hardwood.
Any hardwoods at all, right?
Yeah, that's your best bet. and then softwood to start it. Like I recommend burning skid wood at the start to get the kindling going.
What, we don't take the lighter fluid from the barbecue and just shoot it all in the wood and then ignite it?
Please
we don't
no.
do that? No, it's not how
and
we
if you do that, don't call Bakwoods, please.
I've seen homeowners in the city do that.
Oh,
I've
absolutely.
seen it.
Oh, there's some.
And I'm like, there's a reason why you want to go back to the pioneering days and try to figure out how to make a fire, or watch the movie Castaway again and just learn how to make a fire, right?
Yep. No, absolutely. And that's one of the, I don't want to say scariest things, but one of the biggest things we work on when we put the wood fireplace in. You got to walk the customer through it. Whether they've burnt wood before or never burnt wood.
Let me just give you a crash course on how
Exactly.
you kind of should do this, right?
And thankfully, the internet's there, because then you just go YouTube how to start a fire.
I know, but there's a lot of misinformation too.
That is very true.
I bet you there's a video on YouTube right now with a guy using a lighter
Oh, for sure.
and shooting it right in there.
For
And go,
sure.
Oh, look at that. You can make the flame come right out.
Yep.
No, that's not how you do it, man.
It's true.
Now, I'm not a fan because someone told me about the self-starting logs. They build up creosote on the inside of the liner, which causes damage later on, right? Is that the fact?
It's been said that it's fact.
Okay.
I don't know if it's true or false.
Okay. I've never used the self-starter. My sister's using it all the time, and
Yeah.
then she's always having to clean out her flue.
Well, I mean, as soon as you get a wood fireplace, most insurance companies nowadays, they want to see a receipt that your chimney's been swept every year.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Right. So if you're getting your chimney swept every year, then to burn starting logs, it's not going to hurt it.
No, but
you're
you
gonna
got to clean it every year, though.
Which you should do anyways.
What's the cost to clean it? Like it's like $500, no?
No, it's like $220.
That's it?
Yeah.
To clean the really?
Yeah.
What do they do? They just put a brush right down the whole liner?
Yeah, it depends on the house, but we usually throw the ladder up to the top of the roof. And, the Mary Poppins movie, I walked up with a big top hat and get the brooms down there. Yeah.
And then you kind of clean it. But then all that stuff comes down.
Yeah, and then you
gotta
vacuum
clean
it out.
That's it.
Yeah.
Every year, huh?
It's recommended for sure.
Sorry?
Especially if you burn the fireplace every day in the winter, your chimney's actually probably not that dirty. But if you do it just on weekends, your chimney's probably going to be dirtier because you don't burn it hot enough, often enough.
Yes.
Right? So that's the biggest thing for creosote. You want to burn it hot to clean or to have no creosote.
Yes.
Where if you burn low, creosote will build up on your chimney.
Now, I've always had this conversation with clients regarding environmental and, I guess, energy efficiency, and it actually is harmful to your house because you've got a hole in your house now, and you're letting all the existing hot air that you're burning, right?
Yep.
I mean, how do you guys handle that delicate conversation with a lot of the tree huggers out there that want the smell of it, want the fire, but they still want to be energy efficient in their home?
Well, there's definitely energy efficient wood burning fireplaces.
Yes.
Right. So that's what you would point towards, right? They're those people that are very worried about the environment. They're not going to go for that open burner where heat's just escaping your house. They're going to go for a fireplace that has a catalytic in it that has like a 30-hour burn time. So you're only burning half the amount of wood.
How does it do that? It seals it and then...
Yeah, so the door has a gasket on it that seals it.
Yeah.
And then there's secondary burn tubes in there that push like fresh air through the flame to reburn the smoke.
Okay.
So you get a better, more efficient burn, less pollution. And then if you have a catalytic in it, the catalytic gets so hot that when the smoke goes through there, it burns it and heats up your house with it.
Yeah.
And I forget what the pollution point is, but it's point something.
It's kind of smart. I like that.
It's very smart.
So, I mean, and plus you still get the look of the fire. You
Yep.
still get the scent of the fire.
Absolutely.
But you're getting full efficiency of that fire because all you're getting is that radiant heat coming off the fireplace, right?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. Which is very, very cool.
Very, very cool.
And then is it still a double liner on that application, that install?
So
A fresh air and then exhaust, or no?
No, so
Different.
that's only for gas fireplaces. A direct vent gas
Yeah,
fireplace
okay.
has air in, exhaust out.
Yeah.
Where wood burning is just exhaust out a chimney.
What's the size, 8 or 10? Or?
Depends on the unit.
Okay.
Right, it's going to range from, the most common is 6-inch,
Okay.
and you're going to go from 6 to, we have 14-inch chimneys going in.
And you can still retro those into an existing wood burning fireplace and just run the 6-inch pipe if you're using a size of a unit that works for a 6-inch pipe.
Yeah, so if we're doing, like if you have an old masonry unit, and you want to make it more efficient, we would drop a stainless steel liner down through the whole chimney and put in what we call a wood burning insert.
Okay.
And hook the liner up to that, and away you go.
And that's it. And now you're putting a few logs, you get the fire started, close the door, it does the thing.
Correct.
That's it.
Yep.
And it actually, so based on the catalytic, it stretches the burn time of the wood. Is that what it does?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. Now, the thing about catalytics, if you're trying to get the most efficiency out of it, you're not enjoying a big, gorgeous flame.
No.
Right? Like your fire is dampered right down. It's just smoldering. But like we have a company called Blaze King, and their one unit, now this is in the factory, but it recorded a 30-hour burn time. Right? So you're starting the fire up in the morning, and then the next morning you can come back and put logs in.
Start up again.
And you won't have to start a fire. It'll just...
I mean, I normally do that over the holiday break anyway. You just you go, burn it all day, and then you let it taper off.
Yep.
By the morning you come back, there's a little bit of amber going on there.
Yep.
Start it up right again. And
Absolutely.
That's it. Keep on going all through the holidays.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I like that. So I wanted to get an idea of, me personally, I've never had to install a fireplace with a blower.
Okay.
Because the room is never that big that you would require that, because if you actually apply a blower unit to an existing unit, you're going to be in a sauna at that point. It's just too hot, right? Or there are limitations on the size of the room that you should be considering a blower?
I think every situation would be different for that.
Okay.
But blowers help just moving air.
That's all it is.
Yeah. Right. Like even if you put a fireplace, like a wood stove in this room, it's pretty closed off. Even without a fan, it's going to be a sauna in here.
Yes.
Because there's so much heat radiant.
Yes.
But if you put a fan on, you're going to push some heat out that door, down the hallway. So it's going to spread a little bit
So
better.
it's still good to put a blower then?
Yeah, I recommend them.
If you got, let's say you've got a family room, I don't know, 20 by 15.
Yep.
Still, because you want to push the air out the room.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because for me personally, I know I'm a fireplace guy, but I don't like heat, right? Yeah, it's weird. I don't like to be hot. So I need that fan blowing the heat by me so
Okay.
it warms up the rest of my house,
Okay.
and I can enjoy the fire in a warm area.
There was, I remember I was doing a job, and it was, they had a 10-inch liner. This was a direct vented unit.
Okay.
And they refused to go out the back.
Of the house?
No, of the unit.
Okay.
To go straight out.
Yep.
And so they had to come up the top. But then what it forced me to do is that I had to go out the top, and then you had to make your first bend.
Right.
It just created the mantle to be too high.
Correct.
I felt. So I kept on fighting with them back and forth, and then we kind of found a medium ground, and I was able to drop it like an extra 5 inches or something like that. So then I wouldn't have this mantle that was like at 5 feet high.
Yep.
I mean, in your experience, what's the ideal mantle height? Where's the ideal? Because sometimes I see these homes and they park these mantles so high, and then you meet the missus or the mister, and they're little people, and all of a sudden you're like going, this doesn't make any sense, man.
Yeah.
Like, there's got to be a nice optimum area where the mantle should be that you have found.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, different in every situation. Every person's going to be different on their preference. For me, it's like eye level. You don't want to go higher than eye level, like when you're standing.
high,
It
right?
is,
Yeah.
absolutely. But if you...
If you're talking a shack, man, that's kind of high.
yeah, that's absolutely. But yeah, eye level seems to be a good height for people, because then they can put knickknacks on it and kids aren't trying to pull them off. TV isn't too high. If you're sitting on a couch, you're still looking up. So that seems to be a good eye level.
But there's also another risk with TVs, because if you do get a unit and it's really hot, it's going to affect the TV.
Absolutely.
And the TV won't be covered if you damage the TV as a result of that.
Yep.
But there's also restrictions on, and then you're right, like every fire, it depends on the size of the room, preference of the client, the size of the mantle, but there is restrictions on how far out that mantle can come out and how close it can to the bottom of the fireplace, right?
Correct.
Because if you're using, let's say, for example, a wood mantle, there is restrictions on combustible material being so close to that, because over time you will burn. You'll get heat on that, and it might, it's not that it's going to engulf in flames or anything like that. It's going to start to damage the paint on it. It's going to start to damage the wood on it. If it's a stone, that's a different thing. But also, if it's a stone, you got to be careful, because if it's a man-made stone, you might get that shock where you might crack it now, because the top of the mantle might be cold, but the bottom of it is going to be really hot. And then when they meet together, they're going to have that cold shock.
Correct.
And then you'll crack the stone, and that's going to, so you got to be aware. So it depends on the size of the fireplace you're using, the size of the room, the purpose behind it, and everything like that. Then you have to factor in how everything else around it is going to go.
Absolutely. And if we talk about gas fireplaces like direct vent, a lot of companies now have what they generally call a cool wall. So what that does is it takes 40 to 60% of the heat from out front of the fireplace and brings it up behind the TV wall and out a vent at the top of the wall.
Yeah.
Right. So that allows you to put your TV pretty much right on top of the fireplace without a mantle.
So the fireplace unit does that?
Yeah. Yeah. So there's vents. Most of them have just like flexible aluminum bathroom vents, more or less.
Okay.
And they hook up to the top of the fireplace and they go up behind the studs.
So it's just more piping?
Yep, exactly.
So behind the guts of everything, there's just more piping that's drawing this back?
No, like right on top of the unit. So like if you had the steel box of your gas fireplace,
Okay.
right on the back of it where the chimney comes out of,
Okay.
there's vent holes that you hook these vents up.
Oh.
And it comes up behind your drywall, behind the studs, and then there's a little grill at the top of your wall that these vents hook up to and pushes the heat out there.
How big are these vents normally, the runs?
4 to 5 inches.
Okay.
Diameter.
And then they're safe for being in, I guess, just in a closed area?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and then that allows you to bring your TV like right to the top of the glass.
Am I crazy? I've always built the space that I'm going to use for the firebox.
Yes.
Or the fire unit, most of the time for direct units. This wouldn't be for a wood burning unit, but for direct vented unit. And I line it with cement board. Am I just overkill? Because, I mean, I know that most of the time they're just asking for non-combustible steel studs on the top portion and possibly on the first piece on the side. But then after that, you could put wood, you could put combustible material, it doesn't matter, right? But I generally put cement board, stuff it with rock salt. I don't know. I'm paranoid when it comes, I guess, to fire or the heat or the warmth. Is that just overkill?
Yes, but it's good to overkill.
Yeah.
Right? And it depends on the unit and where you're doing it, like the location.
Okay.
Right? So like the interior of the walls in some towns that we work in, they need to be drywalled and mudded, one coat of mud on them. And then we can put the fireplace
That's
in.
for gases, though. Is that
Yes.
for gas? That's for
That's
gas.
for gas.
That's not combustible issues. That's for gas, right?
Correct. But gas fireplaces still have, you still have to have clearances met on
Yes.
all gas units, right? But like there's wood fireplaces out there. Stuve is a company, and they have ridiculous clearances off the top of the unit. It's like
sometimes a little too much. No.
no, absolutely. But it's a concern, right?
Is it a concern because people are getting dumber and they don't know how to handle fire properly, or what? Basically, I just called all your clients.
yeah, exactly. No, I don't think it's that. I think it's that the fireplace manufacturers are trying to meet the want of what customers want, and they want this big, gorgeous fireplace that pushes a little bit of heat out, not too much. So they got to put that heat somewhere, and it's usually radiant off the back of the fireplace.
Yeah.
Right. So that's where the concern comes from.
But are we not okay? I'm thinking fireplace. Generally speaking, adjacent to the kitchen. Generally speaking, smoke, carbon monoxide, strobe light detector in the middle of that space.
Yep.
If you ever had a leak for gas, you're kind of covered that you would be aware that it will go off. He'll take care of it. Because they say you're not supposed to park any of those units too close to the fireplace because it's kind of like a purging valve. You might get some gas coming into the room, right? But you're not. It's like the units are pretty self-sealed.
Yeah, the new units, right? So the first gen gas fireplaces were called B-vent fireplaces.
Yeah.
So they, like where the vent came out of the back of the fireplace, there was actually an opening that brought fresh air in to push the exhaust up. So those would have a lot of pushback, right? Like your carbon monoxide could go out that hole.
Yeah.
So that would be the biggest concern. But the direct vent fireplaces, they're all sealed. And there's so many safeties in them now that if there's ever like a reason the flame didn't come on and it was just pouring gas out in the firebox, it would shut itself off.
Let me do a little history and construction fireplace talk here. How much do you know about the history? Not a lot, eh?
We
Trust
can try.
me. Angelina gets this stuff. I don't get this stuff. Medieval houses and castles had the first fireplaces, circular stone structures with chimneys to carry out smoke. Over time, they learned that a rectangular form was superior. So that's interesting that the actual smoke boxes were round at first. A certain depth worked best. A grate provided better draft. Splayed sides increased heat reflection, and a thick masonry wall opposite the fireplace can absorb and radiate heat. Soon after, brick fireplaces became more popular than stone. In the 15th century, a cast iron slab protected the back wall of the fireplace from the heat. It was replaced by fire brick in the 19th century. Andronons? I don't know. Androns. I don't know.
Andirons, yeah.
Andirons, okay. Andirons. Andirons, iron bars on short legs were used to support burning legs since before the 2nd century. Rear guard bars were used until the 14th century when the central open hearth went out of use. In 1624, Louis Savat developed a fireplace that drew in air through passages under the hearth and discharged it into the room through a grill in the mantel. This was adapted in the 20th century with prefabricated double-wall steel fireplace liners with a hollow wall serving as air passages. Some had electric fans to force circulation. In the 70s, sealed systems were where the air was drawn from the outside of the house were devised. They had glass covers that sealed from the front of the fireplace once the fuel was ignited. A little bit of history there. How long should we keep our gas fireplace units? Do they eventually, over time, begin to start to fail regarding seals and efficiency and all that other stuff?
Well, it's going to be like anything mechanical in your house, right? So, like, if you service it every year or
it should last a good amount of time.
You'll get a good life out of it.
Yeah,
absolutely. But it's usually getting replaced due to design, right? Everything goes out of style.
Okay.
Right. So, what is it? Every 10, 12 years, a new style comes in. So usually around that time, somebody's coming in like, I don't like brick anymore. Let's take it down and put shiplap up. So let's replace the fireplace. And
so that leads me to my next question, Alex, is that what are homeowners choosing first? The style of the unit or the flame and functionality of the unit? I can only assume the style is being chosen first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely style over anything else.
And then you guys also handle you're not just putting the units in, but you're taking care of all the detail around it as well, right?
The finishings, yeah.
Yeah, all the finishing, right?
So absolutely. We try to market ourselves as a one-stop shop.
Okay.
So customers don't have to go finding a mason on their own. They don't have to go find a framer on their own. We'll take care of it all, start to finish.
Have you guys been able to do a wet certified wood burning open hearth fireplace? Has a client asked for that already?
Like a full masonry one?
Yeah.
No, we haven't done that.
Okay.
If we get to ask for that, we'll just send them to a mason.
Okay.
But we wet, like new builds get them all the time in our area, so we wet certify them all the time.
The new builds are doing open.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah. The big cottage houses.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any monster ones? I'm assuming that there's going to be some monster ones.
Yeah, we've seen some big ones for sure. You know, we're talking. One of the biggest ones I've seen was 4 feet tall, 4 feet wide, and 2 feet deep, something like that.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Because there's a whole math to it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
How high you're allowed, how the depth and the sides and the opening and everything like that. There's all this whole, that's what the wet certified comes in, right?
Correct, yep.
Which is also fascinating math as well, too. Right.
It is.
But that's based on the size of the house or the size of the room. There's a lot of factors attached to it.
Yeah, it really comes down to the dimensions of the firebox to the chimney size is really what the biggest concern is.
Yeah.
Right, because you don't want this monster firebox with a tiny chimney.
Yep.
Right? So
it won't draw, it's not going to be functional at that point.
Exactly. You're going to have a lot of smoke coming back into that house.
Yes, and that's what you want to try to avoid.
Correct.
And then I was going to ask you, oh, damn, I lost the question.
Happens to the best of us.
Damn, I'm going to try. Maintaining it. So is it better off that, okay, when the season is done, you shut it all down or you leave the pilot on? What's your preference?
So I always recommend leaving the pilot on.
Okay, so don't disconnect the gas, leave the pilot on because spiders show up.
Exactly.
Okay.
And for the amount of money that the pilot burns, we're talking
nothing.
Maybe a nickel a day.
You're using more in your hot water tank or your furnace to
exactly.
begin with, right? Yeah.
But that's all changing now because the fireplace industry had to meet a new law. I think it was last year or the year before, where all new manufactured gas fireplaces have a 7-day limit on their pilot. So if that fireplace doesn't get turned on within 7 days, the pilot will shut off automatically, and then you got to go and start it again.
So we're back to stupid people in fire.
Yeah, we're back to the people being overcautious about the amount of gas that was being burned during pilots. That's what it came down to. Yeah.
I don't agree with that. That's me, not you, but I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I mean it's somebody thinking they're doing really good for the world when there's a lot more major things that they could be fixing.
So it wasn't even a safety thing.
No.
It was more of an environmental thing.
Yes.
That makes no sense. So now you got to, I mean, it's always a bit of a pain to reignite a pilot.
Yeah, especially as the unit gets older.
Especially if you don't have you guys coming in to do it because you guys know how to do it all the time. But as a homeowner, to do it themselves, and then they're going to get frustrated, and then they might damage something because you're clicking and trying to spark it to try to get it to a certain point. I don't like that. After 7 days, it just shuts it, right? So you basically have to do a fire every 7 days.
Yeah, and really the only time that's going to happen is if it's at a cottage where you're not up every 7 days, or in the summer. Right, in the winter, it's no big deal because fireplaces come on daily.
So is this across the whole board? Every manufacturer has to do this now?
Yes, as far as I know. I don't want to guarantee anything, but
it kind of makes sense. I know that it was maybe, I'm going to guess, a decade ago that the industry started putting the metal grates in front of the glass.
The screens, yeah.
Because I guess a few kids were touching the glass and all of a sudden they were burning their fingers off. Because, yeah, that glass you can cook on it. That's how hot it is. It's the only element separating the room from the fire that's inside a firebox.
Yep.
So they started adding those grates in front of them, right?
That's correct. And you're right. It was about 10 years ago.
Was it about 10 years ago? Yeah.
And it's right across the board. You can't, it's against the law or against code to put a gas fireplace in without a screen.
See, I keep going back to wood burners now.
Yeah.
But with wood burners, you still have to have a screen.
Nope.
No?
Nope.
I thought for the embers shooting out.
Nope.
Really?
Yeah. You can have a wide open burner.
Wow, I didn't realize that. I thought they changed that as well, too, because of that.
Sorry. I'm thinking, like, if we're talking just an open burner.
It's an open fire, a wood-burning open box.
You're going to have the screen mesh.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry.
So you still have to have a screen mesh there, right?
But every fireplace does not need a screen, right? Like a high-efficiency wood-burning fireplace, it has a glass door.
It's got the glass door.
Doesn't need a screen.
Yeah.
Right?
Because I remember I had one, and then my dog would always want to sleep right in front of it.
Oh, yeah.
And then I wouldn't have the steel grate in front of him, and then a little ember would come by and land on his stomach, and I would just watch him wait to see if he's going to react. But he was passed out. He wouldn't react, and then I would have to flick it off. It was still red, and I was like, dude, you're not feeling that?
Yeah.
Have a little burn mark there, right? So
of course.
Everyone can call PETA now and just put my name in the box.
I'm sure they're on it. I'm sure somebody's on it.
So, I mean, there's all these little rules that it keeps on making me go back to wood burners, man, because I love the smell, and I love the sound, and I love the heat that comes off of it. But there's fewer rules, I guess.
Yeah, wood burning is a lot more laxed on their rules.
Okay.
Right? Like gas is all TSSA.
Everything.
There's a big outfit taking care of all the gas code. It's huge. Where wood is wet and it's a very small operation.
Well, you gotta, for lack of a better word, you've got to have a little bit of an outdoorsy element to you as an individual to kind of really harness an open hearth kind of wood burning fireplace.
You definitely need common sense, right?
I'll let you say that. I'm calling them stupid people, right? It's just like you got to have a little bit of common sense when it comes to that kind of thing.
For sure. And I mean, you definitely need to have not a fear for it, but you got to respect fire.
Of course.
Right?
Of course.
Because it can turn quick.
You can't. I mean, you got to pay attention to it. It moves really fast. And I mean, there was a stat, I think, not too long ago. They were talking about houses in the 70s would take about 27 minutes to burn if it ever ignited. A house today will take 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Because of all the things that we purchase and everything that we put in the house now, it's just so combustible. It's ridiculous how fast it burns.
Well, absolutely. And like if you get into a house that's full spray foam, like spray foam is just
so combustible.
It's just going.
It's just, you might as well just be putting fuel on it at that point.
Absolutely.
Which is really, really scary. And I still disagree with the building code that drywall is the only thing that's preventing you. That's their fire rating 20-minute warning to protect spray foam. But I mean, an intense fire will go through drywall real fast and get to the foam, and then that will just spread right through. And what's beside foam? 2x4. Exactly. What's beside that? Foam. I know, and that's where the fear comes in. And a lot of people don't want that in their home. They rather just have a safe unit if they do want that.
Yep.
Right.
Absolutely.
I want to chat with you about some costs and numbers and try to figure out different scenarios. So, I mean, if we had a home, no fireplace at all whatsoever, and now I wake up one morning and I want a gas unit there, what's the price range that we're talking about? I know it's kind of hard to say because it depends on the unit, depends on everything, right?
I mean, for an average number, we're probably going from 6,000 and anywhere you want to go
for the full unit.
Yeah. Now you can go lower. There's definitely lower, right? You can probably get one installed for 4.
What are you missing out when you're doing 4? Like, it's not you guys.
No,
it's a cheap unit of some sort, right?
Yeah, that's going to be like the ones you get in every new subdivision that they just drop in, and it looks like just like a candle's in the center of that black box. That's what you're getting.
I just laugh because I've seen those, man, and they're terrible.
Absolutely.
There's quite a range of terribleness going on, man.
Yeah.
Like, and especially when you go to the big box and you just start seeing all of them. I'm like, these are not great units.
No, but they're dirt cheap, and a company that's building a 500 house subdivision, they're probably buying them
volume. It's volume.
Yeah, right. Peanuts.
What are you watching out for when you're looking for a unit? Like, what do you want to pay attention to that you should have in these units?
For me, I like a nice orangey flame, because if you go too blue, it's more efficient if it's blue, but it doesn't look realistic. So I'm looking for an orangey flame, and I like lights in my fireplace, because in the summer you don't have your fireplace on, but you can turn the lights on to showcase the logs.
I like that. It's cool. Are people getting into the whole crystal too much? I wouldn't say I'm a fan of because I go back to being a purist. I'm a wood guy, right? So the very horizontal thin crystals, blue flame.
So the linear fireplaces, the horizontal long ones, they're becoming big.
Yeah.
But you can get really nice log sets for them, which look really good.
For the same linear style?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and they look really good.
I guess for the most part, I've always seen them as presented as crystals and blue flame. I haven't really seen them as actual, really?
Yeah, and they look really good. Like Cozy Heat has a model called the Callaway.
Okay.
With a birch log set. So you get the white logs in there. Oh, looks...
What's the size? What's the length of it?
You can go 40-inch. There's a 40, a 50, and a 6 foot.
Wow.
Yeah.
72 inches.
Yeah.
That's long.
Yeah, gorgeous.
How tall is it?
14 inches for the glass view, something like that.
What's the price on that guy?
The 72-inch?
Yeah, I'm just curious.
You're probably 10 grand.
It's not bad.
No.
It's a good unit.
Yeah.
I think I probably would like it better than the crystals, man.
Yeah, I'm not a crystal fan, but they're not becoming big, but in the right spot they look good.
In the right design room,
Absolutely.
It goes back to more of a modern, contemporary looking home if that whole thing is that way.
Correct.
Sure. But you could still pull off a linear with a log set in it in a traditional or even transitional home.
Absolutely.
It'll totally work really well.
That works amazing.
Yeah. Are you getting a lot of clients asking for those units?
Yeah. And the thing about them too is with the lower glass view, then everything drops down more, right? The mantle can go lower, the TV can go lower.
What are the restrictions on mantle? Are there any restrictions? There's a lot of heat coming off of those ones.
There is, but again, most of those units have that cool wall system that I was talking about.
Goes back, okay.
So again, if you do that, then the mantle can sit right on top of the fireplace. The TV can go right down to the fireplace as well. So,
and then does Cozy Heat also make fire pits?
No,
they don't. So who do you guys deal with that?
We have a few brands. HPC is probably our biggest one.
Made out of metal?
Yeah.
Okay, and they're rusted?
No. So we just get the burner itself.
Okay.
And then we can get bowls from them. But we can also go to a metal fabricator and get a bowl made.
So you guys are customizing everything?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Whatever the customer wants.
So it's just basically the unit itself, the flame itself.
Exactly.
And are you still running? You're running gas running it.
Correct.
So you're gonna run. You got to bury it.
Yep.
What's the rules on that? I don't even know about that one. What's the minimum? It's got to be depth.
18 inches.
That's it.
Yeah. 18 inches with the tracing wire in there.
It seems kind of low, like little. 18 inches, a couple of shovel lengths, and you're hitting it right there.
Yeah.
If you forget you want to make a flower bed, you're making a fire bed at that point.
That's
it's
true.
just like, just 18 inches seems kind of, I mean, it's weird. I even think electrical tech cable's got it. Unless
2 feet.
Is it 2 feet?
Yeah.
Electrical tech cable.
Oh, I don't know about, tech cable's 2 feet, I think.
So why is, I don't know, because tech cable, I guess you're getting 40 watts of power. You're going to get hit versus a gas smell. But a gas smell, even if you hit it, you shut it off at the house.
Yeah. I'm not sure what the reasoning is.
I don't know. They just make up that shit. TSSA is always a funny animal.
You know, it's somebody getting paid a lot more that's probably smarter than me sitting in an office.
The office paid a lot more. Yeah. Smarter.
Fair enough. I'll take it.
2 out of 3. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say. I don't know about the third one, the middle one there.
All right.
No, I'll dismiss it. I've had conversations with TSSA.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of them at all, right? So, interesting. What else do you want to chat about fireplaces, man? What else don't we know?
Maybe a lot, maybe a little. I don't know. How smart are you?
How smart am I? You're asking me how smart I am about construction? I'm pretty good. I know a few things.
I don't know. Fireplaces, it all comes down to design, right? When you're choosing one, you want to pick your design first, then pick your fireplace.
Is everybody going to Pinterest and House and showing you?
Oh, gosh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All day long. All day long.
They just add you to their book?
Yep, that's it. That's it.
Anybody got any balls in just trying to make something different and create a different kind of fireplace or go, I don't know, something nice, different, something? I don't know.
We haven't been a part of too many like that. I'm waiting for the right customer to come in and be like, you know what, just do whatever you think is going to work. And we'll give them something to talk about, that's for sure. Actually, I was just listening to your last podcast there.
Which one? The one that was posted this morning?
Yeah.
Oh, Dave.
Yeah, on the way here, and you guys were talking about a outdoor waterfall fire pit.
Yeah.
Or fireplace waterfall.
Yeah.
Love the idea.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, great idea.
He said he's built one. I haven't seen it yet, but I had that idea years ago, and I was like, I'd love to come across that and find a client that could do so then you can benefit summer and winter.
Yeah, exactly. It's a fantastic idea. I love it.
But there's, I think in the city, there's restrictions. So it'll be one of those kind of hide permits.
Yeah.
It's legit, still a permit.
Yep.
But like we kind of built an extra little secret door, that kind of thing, right? To
Yeah.
get away with it, because I don't know. There's just way too many restrictions. I don't know if they would approve a fire so close to the house.
Well, I mean, you could
city-wise.
You could keep it away from the house. You could put it at the back of the yard. Do a little patio out back.
I think clients are too lazy to walk to the end of the yard, right? They'd rather just step right off their living or kitchen or something like that, right?
Like, I mean, we have fire bowls that have waterfalls in them.
Really?
Yeah, HPC carries them.
Really?
Yeah, so it's like a rusted bowl and fire pit in the center, and then at one side, it's usually on like the edge of a pool.
Okay.
So like you do like pillars on your corners of the pool.
Yeah.
And then have this waterfall go into your pool, and then fire coming out the top of it.
Kind of like that.
Yeah, they're a cool look. Haven't sold any. You know, it's
You got to find the right client.
it's a specific
See,
thing.
the really weird thing, Alex, is that you find the right client, then all of a sudden, all your other clients that come up will go, I kind of like that. Can you do that?
Well, that's it.
It takes
right?
the one that just take the nerve and then just do it, right?
Yep, absolutely.
And then go from there. But I guess you guys can always try to do it in your own places or try to build it for a friend or somebody and then start highlighting it at that point.
Absolutely. And we tried over the last couple of years to really push to work with landscape companies, so we can have that big fire pit and barbecue outdoor kitchen portfolio. So we're slowly getting there. So once we get the right,
so you guys
landscape,
are tapping into that as well too.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, at the start of the show, you did talk about you still do boilers, you still furnaces. Well, basically anything with gas at that point, right?
Yeah. Our motto is really anything with a flame.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Let me do a little OBC talk on fireplaces. Here we go. This will be interesting. Fireplaces must have a fire brick or steel liner. Fire brick liners must be at least 50 mil or 2 inch thick for the sides and back. At least 25 mil, 1 inch thick for the floor. Laid with high temperature cement mortar and have offset joints where it meets with the adjacent backup masonry. Excuse me. The back and the sides of the fire brick line fireplace must be at least 190 mil, which is 7.5 inches thick, including the thickness of the liner. If the liner is less than 51 mil thick, if a steel liner is used with an air circulating chamber around the firebox, the back and the sides of the fireplace must be solid masonry and at least 90 millimeters, 3.5 inches thick, or hollow masonry at least 190 millimeters, 7.5 inch thick. 7.5 inch thick just seems excessive. The distance from the back of the fire chamber to the plane of the fireplace opening must be at least 300 millimeter, which is 11 3/4 deep. It's very shallow. I know that I'm always fighting that whenever I was talking to clients, that the older houses always had such a shallow firebox.
Yeah.
And that's how they were built and people used them. But I guess back in the day, 100 or 150 years ago, you would constantly be burning that. So you'd be using it. So it wouldn't be an issue. But nowadays you have to have a deeper firebox, right?
Correct.
So that's all. So it's interesting.
And it's definitely a look of a fireplace, right? So there's a type of fireplace called a Rumford.
Yes.
And that is a shallow firebox, tall.
Yeah.
And the top angles out. So they designed it so that it's a small fire, but it pushes a lot more heat out.
Yeah.
So.
All right. I don't know what else I want to ask you, man, fireplace-wise.
Ask away.
I don't know what else to ask. I'm just trying to figure out, did I ask everything that I wanted to ask?
So do you have a wood fireplace?
I have a wood-burning fireplace.
Very
yes,
nice.
I do.
Open burner or?
Open burner.
Yep.
I came across, this is years ago, someone, and I don't know if this is true because it was a question mark for me. It was kind of a red flag. Is it possible to do an open hearth fireplace with a gas burning unit that has fake logs in it, but occasionally convert it to a wood burner?
No.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
But
so
they were peddling it, saying that you can. So they say you can shut off the valve and then add a log in there and burn it because you're still using it. And I'm like, yeah, but you're burning a log right next to a gas source.
yeah, no.
You're going to
not.
damage that.
Yep. Yeah, that's a no-go. Don't do it.
Don't do that, right?
No.
So they were trying to sell it as if like it's a hybrid or something like
Yeah.
that. You have the best of two worlds where you don't want to bother making a fire. You could just turn on the fire. But if you want to build a fire, then you can build a fire.
Yeah, definitely not. Now there's things called a gas log set.
What's that?
So that's just it's not an enclosed unit in a steel box, but it's just a gas burner that would go in your masonry open wood burning fireplace.
Okay.
And you have these fake logs on it. So you light it and it looks like a real fire. They look really good. No efficiencies. They just look really good.
Okay.
But that would be the closest thing you could do.
It's one or the other, man.
Yeah. You're
It's
not
really simple.
You're not going wood and gas at the same time.
No, because you're going to blow up your house.
Yeah, it's not safe.
I red flagged it. I just said, this makes no sense to me. This is actually, and it was expensive too. Like the actual burner unit itself was about $35,000 or $4,000.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, this doesn't make any sense to me, man.
Yeah, so what they were trying to do, they were trying to sell you a gas log set
Yes.
that you could probably
Throw
have
the occasional log on.
Yeah, so you would just shut that valve off. No, definitely not.
It's not going to work.
No.
Because I want it to work because I thought it was a great idea.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, no, I'm not. Yeah, it's not going to work.
How much are those gas log sets?
About that price, $35,000,
Really, huh?
$4,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it looks pretty real.
Yeah, I think they look probably the most realistic out of any gas burner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I don't know. You got any questions, Angela? No. I don't know, Alex. You got to tell me, man. This is your industry. I just kind of visit it.
All right. Well, since I'm interested to know, since I don't do much work in the city
Okay.
of Toronto, and you do,
Yeah.
do you get much ask for wood?
They ask,
Yeah.
and then the moment that we have to go through all the hoops,
Yeah, it's a no.
and the cost for these hoops,
Yep.
it always reverts right back to a gas unit, or possibly at times eliminating it altogether and just
Yeah.
getting rid of it and then framing right in front of it.
Yep.
Which is always a shame because I'm pretty sure every house in Toronto has that fireplace in it,
Oh, absolutely.
right? It's
Yep.
already been built. It's got the chimney up there. And then they start waving like all the options here. Chimney's falling apart. We have to retuck it, right? So they start looking at the firebox is too shallow. So you'd have to build it out on the outside. So now you got to re-brick everything on the outside, right? So there is a lot of stuff that you have to do to make it legit for today's purposes. But then
Absolutely.
you also still have to speak to your insurance And insurance don't like open flame in older homes that are very narrow. They don't like it. It's the same reason they don't like knob and tube.
Correct.
Right? It's not like partially you're 90% and then 10% knob and tube. No, they want 100%. So you start getting into problems. But I'm telling you, every homeowner at starting point, mostly the ladies, will always prefer a wood burner.
Yep.
Because they want the sight and smell. But then it's. I'm not joking. You get into the $20,000 range.
For sure.
Right?
Absolutely.
You start a lot about masonry work. You start a lot about detail. You have to have a wet certified person. They have to know what they're doing. You got to submit all these calculations. It has to factor into the HVAC design too, right?
Yep.
So it's going to contribute that. So there's a lot of things that are involved in it, and all of a sudden it becomes a Toyota Corolla at that cost.
Yeah, exactly.
So if they're really committed, they'll do it. But most of the time, it's a nay.
No go.
They say forget it. Best case, you get an insert.
Yeah.
But then now you're dealing with the inserts, and I don't know what the shallowest insert that you guys carry or you've installed. I don't think I've seen anything shallower than what, maybe 20 inches or 21.
Yeah, I'm thinking 20 for a wood burner.
But these homes in the Toronto area, fireboxes 12, maybe 14 deep.
Yep. No, absolutely.
So now you got to start carving out brick, but you're doing with a double width wall.
Yep.
And so that inside brick belongs to your house for structure. The outside behind that one belongs to the facade on the outside. So you start carving out that back brick to try to gain 4 inches to try, but you still can't fit. You're going to have to fur it out because I haven't seen a direct vented gas unit narrow like that.
So there is one.
Okay.
One that we sell. A company's called Valor.
I know Valor.
Yeah, Canadian made. And the unit is called a Portrait.
What's the depth?
11 inches.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Does it look good?
Yeah, I love them.
Okay.
They're wide range. They have a very they have a front on them that looks very, very old school. The nice arch, cast iron arch.
Yeah.
Looks really good. And then you can flip right over to the other side where they have just a black square, clean, modern look. Yeah.
I do like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Expensive? How much?
No, you're probably going to be around the, I don't know, $6,000 mark installed.
I was going to say like 5 or 6 or something
Yeah.
like that. It's not bad. So at least there's options on the market.
And it's a really good option. They're my second place fireplace for sure.
Good quality.
Great quality.
They're made here in Canada.
Yeah, BC.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so what are the other brands? You got Majestic. I know that I've used once before.
Yeah, so we got tons of them, but I would probably say our main ones would be Cozy Heat, Valor, Regency.
I don't know Regency.
Regency's another Canadian made one.
Okay.
We carry Majestic.
Then you get the big players, I
Inglo.
guess, in the States where you get Napoleon.
We don't carry Napoleon.
No, I know, but you get all these other brands that are. Like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's tons of brands out there, right? But yeah, those four would probably be our biggest gas fireplaces. And then for wood, we got Stuve, Blaze King, Hearthstone, Spatherm, and Regency.
Now, is it hearth or hearth?
I pronounce it hearth.
So,
I don't think you're wrong on either one.
is it right?
Yeah.
Tomato?
I think so. Yeah, some people say hearth.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always said hearth.
Yeah.
I guess I say hearth because of width.
Yeah.
Width with brick, right?
I won't correct you.
Okay.
That's for sure.
I'm trying to figure out which one belongs to where's the origin of either. I'm just thinking American, Canadian, or is it go as far back as Old English?
I think so.
I think it's Old English.
Yeah, I would say Old English.
So would the Old English say hearth or hearth?
I think the Old English would say hearth.
Hearth.
Yes.
That's what I thought too. So that's why I say hearth. Hearth.
Yeah, hearth.
Yeah. All right. Just whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Send your letters to me. I will never read them. Okay. What else do I want to know, Alex, man, about fireplaces? I don't know, man. I just think I've asked all the questions.
I think you asked some good questions.
So how's business? Good?
Business is good. So we started in 2019, and then, 2020, we hit the pandemic, and me and Dad were worried.
Trying to figure out what
we're like,
everybody else.
we're going to be shutting down,
Yeah.
right? Like, this is not good for a new business, and we skyrocketed like many people.
Everybody was calling.
Oh yeah, it got super, super, super busy.
Good for you guys.
We have the same issue as every other company where you can't find employees, help. We have one great guy working with us, and then we just hired a buddy of mine who's back from the East Coast for the winter. So he's on staff. But yeah, that was, and then we're just kind of, I think we're hit the plateau now. So we're just leveling out. And
is it still looking good for next year for you guys?
yeah, we're booked start of February.
So how many fireplaces would you guys pull off in a year's time? Like you're not doing one a day, are you? No.
No. I would say we'd probably average 2 a week.
Yeah, because by the time you start and you got to still install.
Yep.
And then you got to
frame finish. Now we don't do that on all of them by any means.
Yeah.
And then we also do the boilers on and the furnaces. So
I'm so glad that they finally, or I don't know, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Have they gotten rid of all the brass fireplaces, man?
no.
They still fucking make those?
Yeah.
Oh shit, your kid is listening. Sorry.
That's okay. Oh, she hears it all the time.
Are you kidding me? They're still making the brass ones, man?
Yeah, there's a couple companies.
Those things are horrible.
Yeah,
like horrible.
They still have that look. You know what? Just for our grandmas out there that are replacing their fireplaces. Yeah,
they're horrible. The doors are designed from like old bifold closet doors.
Yeah,
like
they're not great.
And the finish is horrible.
Horrible.
Everything's horrible on that thing. I don't think there's a single good thing about it.
No, I agree.
And I swear the channel on the bottom there is like a guillotine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like they're horrible.
Sharp edges on them for sure.
I can't believe they're still they're still selling those things.
Yeah, I'm not going to say they sell a lot of them.
I should get them on the show just to tell them, stop making these things, man.
Just paint it black. Just paint it black.
See, that would look good.
Yeah.
Get your barbecue high temp paint.
So I've done that. I've done that for customers on like chimney
for the
sweeps.
Really?
Yeah. And I mean, it looks good, but it scratches.
Yeah, it's like chalk at that point, chalkboard.
Yeah, right. So if you have a dog and his tail hits it, it scratches. Right. So
they're ugly. I've demoed so many of those units, man.
Absolutely.
They're absolutely horrible,
Yeah.
man. But I can't believe they're still making those things.
Yeah, we so every year we're part of a thing called HPBA, Hearth Patio Barbecue Association. So it's North America wide, and every year they have a expo. So we go down every year, me and Dad.
Where's it in the States?
Yeah.
Okay.
Different states every year.
Okay.
So we go down in there. They have all the fireplace manufacturers. You go down, you see all the new product, meet people. And there's always one company there that still has that brass door trying to sell it. And you're just like, oh, buddy, come on. Call her a day.
But I bet you he's taking orders.
Yo, for sure. For sure.
From Martha.
From Martha. That's right. Martha.
I guess some people like them.
Yeah.
I'm not one of them.
You know, and retro comes back every once in a while.
No, that's not coming back.
Well, one day.
Well, someone's going to buy doors because their doors broke off or something like that, and
Yep.
you have parts for those things. But
Absolutely.
like they're horrible aesthetically, efficiently.
Mm-hmm.
They're horrible on so many levels. And then they had that little wire, the grill on the inside on the screen, right?
And it always bunches up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Those are normal now. Those are still normal. And like the factory built wood
even
burners.
the new ones.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
They're a little better, but oh, yeah.
I thought we would have evolved, especially with an organization that is kind of overseeing all this, and you guys all go there and check it out, and we're not evolving here.
Why fix something if it keeps selling?
That's a good point.
Right? Well, they're selling tons of them.
Well, I keep thinking as breaking. Why fix something that keeps breaking?
True.
But I guess people are just stuck with that whole thing, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay. What other horrible things in fireplace land? Other than that, they're fine.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I think.
I mean, the big, like the worst thing I see is like when framers come in and they don't like read the manual of the fireplace and they're framing around it. So most fireplaces have those triangle standoffs on the top of them.
They're there for a reason.
Yeah, and and you see the framers, they'll notch a 2x4 with the triangle.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, yeah, and then they'll put it on. That's one of the worst things I've seen.
I've never thought to do that.
Oh, yeah, all the time. Not all the time. That's bad to say, but enough for me to bring it up.
It takes more effort to notch it out.
I agree 100%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd like to meet that person.
Yeah.
But, okay.
And just on those standoff notes, if you are framing around a fireplace, read the manual, because there's wood fireplaces that have those triangles on them, and that's not the clearance. The clearance is like 4 feet above that.
You got to read the manual.
For
Every
sure you do.
unit is different.
For sure.
And there is a non-combustible area zone,
Yep.
right, that you have to be careful.
Absolutely.
And then their thought process sometimes, because I've had this conversation before, is if I don't put any wood, I have nothing to nail right there. I'm like, well, you don't want wood there because they've tested the unit that it's going to catch on fire.
Exactly. Steel studded.
So you have to, first of all, put some sort of non-combustible material, i.e. stone or tile or something, brick, veneer or something, around that area, and then you can start wood from that point on.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, fire. That's what happens, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you got to be careful. I mean, it's like you got to know what you're doing, and you can't really cut any corners of that or cut angles in it at that point, right? That makes no sense. I've never built. Well, that's the first one.
Yeah, it was interesting.
I'll read it, and then that's when I'm being forced to use steel studs sometimes, right? Because you got to use steel studs at certain framing points there.
I mean, if you don't know,
yeah,
go to steel studs. Right, like if you don't know the clearances, just go steel studs.
Well, most guys are not outfitted for steel studs.
You're absolutely right.
So
that's why we started offering the service of us framing and finishing, because it's peace of mind. It's our framers go in there and we know what we're looking for, so we frame it and finish it to code, and
that's it. You're done.
Exactly.
What do you guys charge for just the actual maintenance, the annual maintenance on the unit? If you guys are going to go back out and just kind of check the tires, kick the tires, like that, all that kind of stuff.
Our normal service call is about $200, $210.
In my opinion, worth it.
Yeah.
Because I can get frustrated sometimes. I've had brand new fireplaces, all started, all fine, everything's great. And then all of a sudden, a month or two later, client calls you back. They did something, I don't know, and then we kind of start all over again. Get it back, and they just don't know. People do funny things with their fireplace units when you're not around.
Oh, absolutely.
And then they're wondering why it's not working, and they spend so much money that they put it in, and now it's not working.
Yep.
So I think it's worth it. Totally worth it. Bakwoods Fireplace, www.backwoodsfireplace.ca, info@backwoodsfireplace.ca, and on Instagram and Facebook, Backwoods Fireplace. Let's talk about safety here. Green Book talk here.
Okay.
House fires and heating equipment. This is always fun. Between 2014 and 2018, house fires caused by heating equipment resulted in annual losses of 500 deaths, 1,350 injuries, and $1.1 billion in property damage in the U.S., mind you. Heating equipment causes roughly 14% of house fires and resulted in 19% of house fires deaths. I'm going to say that has something to do with no maintenance on these units and people just letting them go and not paying attention to what's going on.
Absolutely.
How many times have you guys seen filters that are black?
Oh, often enough.
Like black.
Yeah. Yeah.
And by the way, people, they're white when they come
Exactly.
out of the factory, right? Most house fires caused by heating equipment are due to lack of cleaning, mostly of chimneys. Another leading factor is having heating equipment too close to flammable material like upholstery, furniture, clothing, mattress, or bedding. Most home heating fires occur in winter months, December to February. 44% of home heating fires are caused by portable or stationary space heaters. 29% are caused by fireplaces. 12% are by central heat, and 10% by water heaters. By far, portable and stationary space heaters result in most deaths, injuries, and property damage. 81%, 80%, and 54% for deaths, injuries, and property damage. More than doubling fireplaces in second place, which is only 9, 5, and 23. So fireplaces are relatively safe compared to everything else. I've seen people use space heaters and they're plugging into a whole Christmas tree carousel.
Yep.
And that's just creating the wire to get really hot, and that's where the fire starts.
Absolutely.
You're overloading the circuit, right?
Yep.
So back to common sense.
Common sense.
That's what it is,
The biggest thing. And the thing about the stateside, it still baffles me, but they have ventless gas fireplaces. And it's a normal thing because they build their houses so loose still for like insulation and vapor barrier.
I wouldn't have wanted, no way, man.
But yeah, so I don't get it often, but every once in a while we'll get a snowbird that comes up back home from the States with a ventless fireplace asking for it to be installed. And here it's a no-go. Can't do it because our houses are so tight.
Wow.
Yeah.
That makes no sense to me. I wouldn't want that.
No, me neither.
Plus, you want fresh air coming in anyway.
Well, exactly, right?
Right? Like, that makes no sense to me. But
yeah, I guess their theory is they're, like, in California, their houses are so loose to the outside.
But they're not designing it for our winters,
No,
too,
exactly.
Right? That's the thing. So
Yeah.
I guess it'd be the same. Yeah, it'd be most of the southern states.
I would
probably
think so,
design
yeah.
that way.
But yeah, scary stuff.
I love fireplaces. You ready to do the 12 questions, bro?
Sure.
What is your favorite construction word? Fireplace.
Yeah. Low pitch.
Low pitch.
Low pitch roof.
Yeah.
Yeah. That way, I mean, we go on steep roofs, but I like low pitch a lot better.
Yeah, it's like walking on the floor.
Exactly.
What is your least favorite construction word?
High pitch. Steep pitch.
Steep pitch.
Metal roof.
Metal. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's a pain, huh?
Or actually, probably the worst one is
Clay.
The high seam, standing seam metal roofs now. They're the big look. Yeah.
What turns you on in construction?
End product of the fireplace.
What turns you off in construction?
Seeing pictures of terrible fireplace installations.
They're out there, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like there's some bad work out there?
Yeah.
Like people just like dapping it to death or something like
Yeah, exactly. Dapping it or, like...
That's making me cringe, man.
Yeah, there's some shoddy work.
That's where you actually should hone some skills.
Yeah.
And do some interesting work. And
Exactly. So, for example, can I go on a tangent?
Of course you can.
Okay. So, for example, wood inserts, a lot of times they come with these big black surrounds
Yeah.
to cover the opening.
Yeah.
If you have a beautiful stone, I don't want to cover up that stone. So we'll get a custom one made that fits into that opening.
Just the space.
Yeah. And so we do that quite a bit. And I did a chimney sweep for a fireplace we did not install. And somebody tried to do that, and they took the existing surround and just hacked it with a grinder or a metal plate sawzall, and they just black caulked it. Like it was, it was terrible.
Like black dap caulk
Yeah.
or actual high heat black caulk?
I'm going to say high heat because it wasn't melting or anything, but it was one of the ugliest ones I've
It's
ever.
like you really want to meet these individuals that do this stuff and just try to get a sense of where it went wrong in their childhood, right?
Yeah.
Something went wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
That's brutal. What is your favorite curse word? We got to keep it safe for the kid.
Oh, that's okay. She hears it. They hear it all the time. It'd be fuck.
Okay.
It just works in every mood.
What is your favorite vehicle in the entire world?
I'm pretty happy with my truck. I got the Ram 2500 Longhorn.
A lot of guys are driving Rams, eh?
Yeah.
Is it because of like Yellowstone or what's going on here?
I mean, I think I had mine before Yellowstone. So.
Okay,
I mean, I drive it because Dad drove Ram his whole life, and I know nothing about vehicles, so
They're good trucks from what I
Yeah.
hear. So
it works.
I just get like the other two pick on Dodge Ram all the time.
It's true.
I don't know why, but
It's okay. We'll take it. We got big shoulders.
least favorite vehicle in the world.
Smart cars?
They could fit in your back of your
They
Longhorn.
could.
What construction sound or noise do you love?
The first ignition of a gas fireplace. So you hear the yeah, I love that
I
sound.
know. Get that little woof.
Yep.
What's construction sound or noise do you hate?
Multi-tools. Oh, this is
Oscillating.
yeah, no thanks.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt one day, Alex?
Before I got into this industry, went to school by school I mean like 2 months of college for business.
Enough for a 2-4.
Yeah, exactly. Hoping to open up a sports store.
Okay.
So that's always in the back of my mind. That'd be cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
What profession would you not like to do?
Drywall.
If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at those pearly gates?
Actually, I told my dad this question, so he gave me the answer.
And?
Come sit by the fire. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, it's good.
I like that. It's clever. All right, since you guys are new, what tool brand are you guys using?
So when I started in the trade, I was always DeWalt, still am. But since we have employees coming in, we are making them go Milwaukee just because they have trade-specific tools.
Gas.
Yeah, like they have gas pipe threaders.
Yes, that's why.
Yeah, so we're switching everything to Milwaukee. My truck will stay DeWalt just because I have so much invested in it.
Got it.
So, Yeah.
Makes sense. It does make sense. And then it's true. All the gas fitters and everybody. Plus, you're dealing with boilers and furnaces and everything like that, which is basically Milwaukee land.
Exactly.
It makes a lot of sense. But I guess a lot of the framing and stuff, DeWalt, you can get away. DeWalt or Milwaukee, you can get away with either or.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. So.
And then our wholesaler, they stock Milwaukee. So it's just easy to, if something breaks, you just walk in, get a new one, and call it a day.
It's nice, man.
Yeah.
Alex, thanks so much, man. I think
Hey.
we've covered quite a bit on the side of fireplaces here. And anything else you want to share before we wrap it up?
No, it's all good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, all right. So Alex MacDonald from Bakwoods, no C in it. Fireplace, www.backwoodsfireplace.ca, info@backwoodsfireplace.ca, and at Backwoods Fireplace. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Thanks, Angelina.